welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time today to have a conversation with me about movies. You mentioned that this is your first time doing anything like this, correct?
Yes, yes, I'm happy to be here, but I'm also very, very nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about, and we're just going to be talking about movies. So, thank you again
All
for
right.
being here. You came across my profile on TikTok. We immediately started talking about movies. Hit it off pretty well. I mean, you have a lot of similar tastes in movies in general. You commented on a few things, and I was like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. And I gravitated towards that. And as the conversations progressed, I learned a little bit about you. And that's really why I asked you to be here today, because I think your story is very unique and it embodies exactly what this podcast is about. Tell the people who you are. Let us know how you kind of got into becoming a movie guru.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it started far back when I was a baby. My parents had no filter when it came to movies. I mean, I'm a 90s kid. So I mean, me and my brother, always watching movies. I mean, even shows like after school, we'd get home because we wanted to see Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man on TV. And I mean, just growing up and sort of having that connection with him meant a lot to me. And I also enjoyed a lot of the things that my parents showed me, that, my brother showed me. And as I grew older, I realized a lot of people, a lot of my friends, they wouldn't know what references I would be talking about. And I was like, what? Like, you haven't seen that movie? And they're like, well, no, our parents don't let us watch that. I'm like, oh, okay. For example, my favorite film is Pulp Fiction. I saw that when I was probably 10.
Pulp Fiction is a pretty intense movie, and
Yes.
to see it at 10 is pretty wild. I think I was, man, I would say I was in my 20s when I saw Pulp Fiction. So you watch Pulp Fiction at 10. I'm assuming dad is the one enabling this behavior.
Yes, yes. After that, I just really grew an attachment to film. I just thought it was like the most original movie with my whole 10 years of existence. The only reason we even had it was because my mom was obsessed with John Travolta and Bruce Willis. So I grew up on watching Die Hard a million times, especially during Christmas.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, with John Travolta, I've seen almost every one of his movies because of my mom. And my dad, he was more of a Western fanatic. He liked all the classics, and there was one movie in particular. It's not a Western and it's not a romance, but it is In Harm's Way. And that one I saw very young too. I can't exactly say how old I was, but there's a specific scene that just stuck with me. And I mean, when I asked my mom, she would tell me, "Oh, I'll explain to you when you're older." I'm like, "Okay, but you're letting me watch it, but okay, I got it." I mean, me and my brother, we would just start critiquing movies after that. It wasn't even just about watching it and then just, going about your day. It was, we would dive into, oh, what about this scene? Or what did you catch this? And how did you feel about that? And it would just become a whole session between us. Unfortunately, my brother passed away in 2013. But yeah, I mean, up until that point, I mean, we had seen almost everything together, and his genre is everything. Wouldn't discriminate against any kind of movie, even if it was, you know, like your rom-com, that's maybe rated at a 2. We would still give it a shot and see, hey, let's see what this is about. And I think that's sort of how I am also. I like everything until I don't like it. And then I will give my solid reasonings on why I don't like it.
It's so refreshing to hear somebody else say that, because I'm the same way. I don't discriminate towards any particular type of movie. I don't immediately knock it, down if it's a rom com, for example, or if it's a Western or whatever the case is. I tend to watch anything. I always go into a movie hoping that it's good. I never want to see a
Open-minded.
movie, right? Like, you don't want to go into a movie expecting it to fail. Like, what's the point of that? Like,
Yes,
I want to root. I
exactly.
want to root for every movie and go, yes, this was amazing. This
Yes.
is something else to add.
There's always going to be an entertainment factor in some sort. You just have to find a connection to it. And it's so funny. In one of your TikToks, you mentioned Michael Bay, and a lot of people do. You know, they don't give him enough credit. I
It's
mean,
so cool to hate on him.
yeah,
Yeah,
but he's out there, but he builds on his strengths. He likes the explosions, the dramatics. But I mean, that's the entertainment right there. If you're into it, just go with it.
yeah. I mean, I always find it funny when people do knock on him. I always give the example of Nickelback, and Nickelback is this artist, this group that continues to sell, I mean, millions and millions of records. They continue to make their money. So clearly there's an audience. And I don't
Yeah.
understand how many people can hate on him so much. I never see a fan. I never have met, I see them
And
walking around with I
actually,
love Nickelback.
I like Chad. That's the
Chad
main.
Kroger. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I don't know. I do see it a lot in the film talk community, where I feel like a lot of people, I guess for a lack of a better word, I feel like they're afraid to admit that they like certain things
I think
because
so too.
there's a they're so worried about their credibility, their
Yes.
appearance. They want to come off as really educated and well versed in the world of film, and I only like these kinds of movies. But not a Transformers film because no, 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 that's trash. Like that's what it feels like a lot of times. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, I can really like a very serious movie and have that be a part of my collection and mean something to me. And I can also enjoy Shia LaBeouf running around for an hour and a half being chased
Yes.
by CGI robots. I have no
Yes.
problem with that at all. So I respect that. I appreciate your honesty, and shout out to your brother. May he rest in peace. But he just sounds to me like he was a great dude that loved
Yes.
his movies, and I feel like I could have gotten along with him just fine.
Oh, yes. I'm pretty sure he would have made your channel before me. You would probably be like, you instead. He
Oh,
was, gosh, he was just amazing. And just how much he enjoyed just everything. And when I say everything, it's not just film, it's video games, it's music, it's TV, everything in the entertainment industry. And I mean, I feel like a huge reason, if not the whole reason, why I'm so well versed is because of him.
and do you find? I mean, you said 2013, correct?
13.
So it's been
Yes.
11 years now.
Yes.
Are there certain movies that you can't go back to because they may just be it might just hit too close to home. It might remind you of him, but it's almost like painful to watch. Or do you use those memories, as a way to feel a sense of comfort and like, oh, it brings more good memories than it would like a bad feeling, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, it makes sense. To be fully transparent, the last film I saw with him at the movie theater was Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and I have not watched it since. And I am a person who watches things over and over and over again just because there's always something I missed. And I always want to go back and, what did I miss? Oh, I didn't catch that the first time. Oh, I went to the bathroom at the movies and I missed that. Oh, just certain things. But I have not been able to watch that movie again. I don't know when I'll be able to. Um, I've shown my kids the movie, but I've left the room. And for them, it was off because I always watch movies with them. So when I had put it on for them, they were just like, "Hey, mom, where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm not feeling too well. I'm just gonna take a nap." And I'm not there yet.
How old are your kids, if you want me asking?
So I have four. My oldest is 12. My second, he's 8. And my third, she is 2. And my fourth is 6 months.
Wow, so you're a super mom. Okay.
Yes. And they're going to be well versed in film, which they already are, and with music, TV shows, everything.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the beauty of movies, physical media in general. Just, you can pass that on to your kids and just
Yes,
watch them enjoy the things that you did. And hopefully, that's one of those feelings where it's like such a great feeling where you show something to your loved one, whether it's
yes,
your kid, spouse, whatever, and their reaction is exactly what you'd hope it would be. And
yes,
you
exactly.
get that gratification where it's like, this movie was awesome, mom. Thank you for showing me
Yes,
this.
yes.
I feel like
It's
your
so
mom
funny.
knew
I
my
mean,
mom because her mother loved John Travolta, and that
oh
that
yeah.
woman, man, she had it in for him, and I watched
Oh, mine
a
too.
lot of John Travolta, a lot of John Travolta.
My dad, he would laugh if he was here, but he kind of looks like John Travolta. I'm like, you landed the jackpot, mom.
Nice.
And yeah, it's so funny. And what's also, you saying that the connection, you know, um, I'm sure that's how my brother felt with me, like being able to show me, movies and have the same wow, like, oh, the same critique sometimes, even sometimes different, or just an opinion in general. And yeah, I mean, I love that about my kids, and it's so funny because during Christmas time, you usually see Home Alone, Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but my kids, they want to see Scrooged. I'm
Okay.
like, okay, we can watch Scrooge. And the other one they love to watch is Gremlins. And I'm like, okay. And they're super psyched that they're coming out with a new one because they're like, Mom, like, nobody knows about the Gremlins. And I'm like, well, now they will.
Wait. Coming out with the new Gremlins?
Yes,
I
yes,
did
they
not know
are.
this. When is this
Yes.
happening?
It should be coming out next year. Yeah, next 2025.
Really?
Yes.
No idea. Breaking news, guys. The new
Yeah.
Gremlins comes out 2025. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
There you go. That's amazing. Um, I showed Gremlins to my 5-year-old last Christmas for the first time, and she loved it up until the point she fell asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Because
She gave it three snoozes out of five.
yeah, she's so eager to watch movies with me, and I purposely do it though because she there's a comfort that she has just sitting next to me watching a movie. But
Oh,
anytime we watch a movie past 8 p.m., I know she's gonna fall asleep too. So
yeah.
so I put it on for her. I know she wanted to see it. I have this little item from Walmart where it's
Mhm.
got like the gremlin that sticks out within my movie collection. So he like hugs the movies. It's pretty cool. And
Aw.
she's like, Daddy, let's see that. I said, okay, well, I'll show it to you. So, and it's also a really good gateway horror movie. It's one
Yes.
of those movies where it is scary for kids, but it's
Yes.
not too intense that they're gonna like, oh my God, freak out and be traumatized. When I was 4 years
Mhm.
old, I watched Hellraiser, and that movie damaged me. It actually did
Oh.
a lot of to this day, it's still a very damaging film. I
Yes.
have a hard time seeing Pinhead character
Hmm.
because it's I guess it's triggering. I guess the word is triggering.
Yes.
But it gave me a lot of nightmares. And it was when I was older that I realized, where these nightmares were coming from, and it kind of, it all went back to that day. But it wasn't my mom
Yes.
who played it for me. It wasn't my dad. It was I was left alone with my cousins while my
Okay.
mom and my aunt went out to get food for us, and they
Hmm.
ended up going to like the shopping, like shopping center, and got groceries, and they were watching it, and unfortunately, I was a 4 year
Yeah.
old with like 13 and 15-year olds.
Now,
So
have you watched it again since then?
yes, I have. I watched it to kind of face my fear a little bit. That movie, in a weird sort of way, is a little bit therapeutic now. It's odd, and I related
Yeah.
a lot to Clive Barker. I had the chance to meet him.
Wow.
He signed my movie. And I
Oh,
also got to
goodness.
meet Doug Bradley, who played Pinhead, and that was weird. That one was like, you were the source of my nightmares for
Yeah.
God, I
Uh,
mean, as long as I can remember. And it was interesting. You mentioned something about how movies are like the same way that you remember something if you get a
That
smell.
triggers a smell.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, that happens for me on a lot of things. I like to always look back at certain movies, like Baby's Day Out is a great example.
Oh, that was a funny one.
I
Yeah.
posted that recently because my mom was home for the weekend. She was going to come visit the girls. And I told the girls, I was like, we got a new movie to watch tonight. And I was like, my daughter's old enough to appreciate this now. Before I tried to show it to her when she was like 3, but she just wasn't focused. And I'm
Interested.
like,
Yeah.
now I'm like, she can do it. And my mom loves that movie. So I made sure that I showed it to her when my mom was here. And anytime I
That's
watch that
awesome.
movie, yes, I love the movie. I think it's hilarious despite all the
Yeah.
craziness. But I
Me
think what
too.
makes it for me that much more exciting is hearing my mom's uncontrollable laughter.
Mhm.
This Hispanic lady who just is just hardcore laughs that are just so over the top. And my wife just kind
So
of goes,
genuine.
"Oh yeah,
All
oh
genuine.
100%." My wife is like looking over to her like, "What?" And I'm like, "You just don't understand. Like this movie has been part of our lives for so long." So that's one movie that I know that I have an attachment to that um it's a part of my mother and I's connection in a way, and I'm always
Yes.
going to have that. And I'm
I
sure that when the day comes, the inevitable day where she passes, whether it's her first or me, if it's her first, I know that it's going to be hard to watch that movie because I'm going to think of her and those things. But it also,
yeah.
when I'm ready, I'm sure it'll be a moment where I can go, yeah, this is therapeutic and this is bringing back great memories of somebody. So
Of
um,
course. Of course.
that's the beauty and power of movies. And I think for a lot of us, that are lucky enough to have parents like yourself that kind of got you into it very early on,
Yes.
that's
Yes, they
huge.
did.
Because
Yes.
I mean, you said it yourself. You quote things, and some of your friends are like, "What? What is
Yeah.
that?" And that sucks. It's like, oh man, I wish I could
Yeah.
tell you, but then it becomes almost like our job to get people to, or
Educate them.
yeah, and most
You
times they don't care.
uncultured swine, like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Toy Story.
yeah.
Yes, and I mean, I love that you're mentioning your mom also because my mom also passed away
Oh,
from
jeez.
ovarian cancer.
Wow.
So it's just me and my dad, and um, there are certain movies where they're extremely hard to watch, but I watch them anyways because, like you said, the laughter, and also my mom and I are big criers, and we cry a lot during movies. She did a lot, and I mean, when you mentioned your mom and A Baby's Day Out, instantly I thought of the movies that she loves and the movies we would love to watch. We would love to watch Family Stone because I said so. She was a huge Diane Keaton fan, and also another. It's a Disney movie. It's Brave because it has a lot to do with the mother and daughter. And she would always tell me, "Mija, that's me and you. That's me and you." Oh, and yeah, there's a lot of movies that are triggering for me, but I've been able to see those. I, for some reason, just can't bring myself to see Man of Steel
I mean,
yet.
it, I don't know you, but from what I do know of you, it sounds to me like your brother, you love them very much. And I think from the sounds of it, it's just, it's when you're ready, you'll watch it. Plus, it doesn't help that
Yes,
Man of Steel is a very good movie and it's very emotional. I mean, it's a
yes,
beautiful
yes,
movie. So
yes,
it's,
yes. So many flashbacks come to mind. One in particular, in a scene. If everybody hasn't seen it, I'm so sorry. So spoiler alert. I guess
I
that's
mean,
what
at
you
this
say, right?
point in time,
Spoiler.
come on, what are you doing if you haven't watched it?
The part where his dad takes off into the tornado,
Yeah.
and my brother was just like, because he's a big comic book nerd too. He's a big, huge comic book nerd. So, I mean, he was like a stickler for like this is the way it should have gone, and you know, But yeah, with that scene, he was so mad. He's like, it pisses me off every time. And I'm like, "Ah, it's okay. It's okay. They're going in a different direction, but it's okay."
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I saw my first movie that I saw after he passed away that I know we would have seen together was Big Hero 6.
Jesus.
It's another Disney movie.
Yeah, I know. I mean, God.
Yes, and I cried and cried like a baby at the ending, just just throughout the entire movie, honestly, because I thought of him so much. The sibling love and my brother, he had such a huge heart. He's huge, huge heart, and that's something he would have done. Going back into the school, a burning school, and it's just it really resonated with me. And I mean, I'm able to watch that movie. But yeah, I feel like I'm slowly building up to it. Especially because I wasn't able to watch Smallville for a long time either. We were watching that when you could record stuff on your TV, and we would watch the episode like the next day because they would always air like late at night. And I could not watch that show for the longest time until finally I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna rewatch this. And I would cry on some parts, especially I don't know if you're familiar with the show Smallville, but um, there's an episode about Lex Luthor, and he splits into two. It's called Onyx, and um, he loved that one. Like from the beginning to end, he was obsessed with that one. And yeah, when I built myself up to watch that episode, it was really hard. But I was just like thinking of him of, oh my gosh, I remember when he would say this or he would feel like this, and it felt nice. It felt good.
Do you get a chance to watch movies with your dad now?
Sometimes he doesn't live here in Colorado. He lives in Texas. So when we do get together, yes, we do watch a lot of movies, and that's actually what helped his speech. Also, he suffered a stroke, and he has uh, something called aphasia, which I think Bruce Willis has it also, and it just breaks my heart. And my dad, he wasn't able to comprehend in the first months when that happened, but I would put a movie on for him and he would remember and he would write down what he was trying to say because he couldn't articulate the words. And honestly, if it wasn't for movies and if it wasn't for music, I don't think his speech would have made as much progress as it has now. And now we have a full blown conversation. He watches Game of Thrones like 20 million times and he talks about the scenes and Khaleesi. And I'm like, yes,
That's incredible, though. I mean, wow.
I've had a wild ride.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like everything that I've said, it's like, oh no. I just,
No, it's not it does not, no, it's a good thing. I've never done this and I'm happy to talk about them because I love them and I love how they raised me and my love for everything in this world. So I love talking about them.
that's beautiful. And I really do appreciate you telling your story. I mean, that's honestly, I said it in the beginning, this is exactly what this podcast is all about. We can sit here and talk about movies and their technicalities and why this sucks or who this actor. I don't,
Yes.
that's fine every now and then, but this
Mhm.
is for me. It's movies are special. I mean, you can see a collection behind me. I have more in different rooms. I've dedicated
Mhm.
my life to
Love that.
collecting, and it's because of my love for film. The reason that I get to do what I do for a living.
Yes.
I
I
was
guarantee you my family would not leave your place because they'd just be in heaven. They'd be like, what are we seeing today at this hour?
your
Okay,
dad
there's
is more than
one.
welcome to come here and hang. I'll have the popcorn ready. I'm
You would.
have you found anything that like is like you said your parents had their thing, right? You know, your mom, Bruce Willis, John Travolta. Your dad seemed to like some very intense action movies that he liked to show
Yes.
you. So you got to be surrounded and grew up with all of their things. What is your thing now that you find yourself going into, and now essentially your kids are now feeding off of your thing?
My big thing, and it's always been it, which is why my favorite movie is Pulp Fiction, is originality. I love when movies are original. I mean, if just to mention the one that won so many awards, Poor Things. I know it got a lot of backlash, and I'm like, I try to hold myself back, but I'm like, what other movie is like this? How tell me. And nobody can tell me. And that's what makes film also amazing is when it's completely original and it's not from a book, it's not from a comic book, it's you know something that somebody really took the time to think through it and envision it and actually complete it. And that's what I love. That's my connection is the originality, but again, I love everything. It could be an extremely silly movie and I love it. I mean, I love The Pest and that one with John Leguizamo and people are like, why do you like this movie? Like, because it's amazing. That's why. Like another one is Biodome. A
Oh
lot
yeah,
of people didn't like that one either.
yeah,
And I thought it was hilarious.
yeah. I mean, those
So,
are
I mean,
they have their audience, and my mom's like that with a lot of movies. She loves like comedies. Obviously, she loves them, but she has
mhm.
this thing against character actors in comedies. I mean that like it's like, for example, Austin Powers. She hates
Oh,
Austin Powers. She hates it because of the character that he is. Like she doesn't like that at
yes.
all. And then of course I piss her
Mhm.
off by like, saying like quotes from the movie to her. And she's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
parece eso, mijo. No haga eso, no haga
Yeah.
eso." Um, but she
No me
always
gusta. No me gusta.
yeah, she always quotes Cliffhanger. That's like a
Oh,
movie
I
that
love.
her and I like watched religiously when I was a kid. And
Yes.
she'll always like anytime I'm like joking with her, she's like, "Get off my back, Quaylen." And
No.
just, something that her and I always get. And that's,
Kin-
my
Kindergarten
yeah, I
Cop.
mean, it's
Under my mom's.
that's a classic.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't want to do the voice. I don't want to do his
No,
voice, but
please do at this point.
no.
Don't worry, nobody's
Oh
watching.
gosh.
That's so funny.
But yeah, me and her would go back with our Schwarzenegger impression. It's
I'm
always
sure they're
fun.
wonderful. I'm sure they're wonderful.
Yes. One day
Yeah, yeah,
I will
we'll
share.
bring it back just so that we can do Arnold impressions. Speaking of Poor Things, I didn't see it. I know that it's on Hulu, I think it is, and I
Yes.
do want to see it. It was something that I did want to see. Um, but with that being said, I will ask you something more just direct movie related. Is there a movie from 2023 that did not get any recognition for the awards, being the Oscars, that you think should have been at least nominated?
Oh, so 2023. Could you remind me some of the films that did come out, and then I'll start.
I couldn't remind you of half of them, but there is one that I can remind you of, which is the one that I'm thinking about, and the one that I believe got like robbed, which is the Iron Claw, with Zac
Oh,
Efron.
okay. Yes, yes.
Um,
You know what? Yeah, that movie actually didn't get as much recognition
Nothing.
as much as I thought it would have,
Yeah.
and I thought the entire cast and Zac Efron did amazing. I mean, he did something completely out of his, I would say, comfortability. And yeah, definitely, I would say that was one that should have got more, should have
Yeah.
got more praise, should have got
Um,
more recognition.
I ugly cried like crazy at the end of that
Oh
movie.
yeah,
Like really like ugly cried, just not cute.
Yes.
Um,
And just to bring up, another trigger, my brother, he unfortunately passed away from suicide. So, and as anyone who has seen that movie, it has a lot to do with that. And yeah, I cried also. I cried very much, and I also just thought it was a beautiful, beautiful movie.
yeah, I agree. That man, you are killing me, Ashley. I just everything that I've mentioned,
I don't think
it's
I
like
don't think you were prepared for this.
I wasn't prepared for that. I cannot believe that every single thing that I have said has
Yeah,
somehow directly triggered. It's just
I
I'm
know.
oh man, I am batting over oh right now. Before we wrap things up, a couple things I like to ask, and then we always end it on a final question. And this one will just let me know whether we'll remain friends or we're just gonna go our separate ways. No pressure.
Sure. Jesus.
No, no, it's not that serious. I'm just being stupid and silly.
Yeah.
So the first
Drum roll.
is your favorite genre. What do you consider that to be?
Drama.
Drama. Okay. Favorite actor?
Edward Norton.
Nice. Favorite musical?
You got me there. I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but I have to go with one of the originals is Grease.
Nice. Okay. Bringing back John Travolta. I respect that. Um,
Yes.
favorite scary movie?
Thinner, which
Thinner.
I would love to dive into why that movie traumatized me. And
Tell
I
me.
had to sleep in my parents' bed because I was terrified. I don't know why. I don't even remember how old I was. I just know I was really young. And they were watching it, and what what had me interested was the gypsies, the old man.
Mhm.
Um, and he scared the hell out of me. And as the movie, went on, just the different like I don't even know if I can watch it now. I don't think I've seen it since then, honestly. I have like bits and pieces, but the way he transforms, like from him being extremely overweight to being skin and bones, and then what happens to the judge, what happens to everybody who's involved in the case. And the one that got me a lot was the judge. He was the one with the scaly skin, and him. There's a scene where he's like laughing in a car, but it's like a dream or some image, and I just kept seeing that. I kept seeing that over and over. I would close my eyes, I'd see it. So I was like, "Mom, I don't want to sleep in my room. Can I sleep here?" And she's like, "Yes, yes, of course." And she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "That movie really scared me." And uh, probably to this day, it would probably scare me.
Wow. I have not seen that movie since I saw it in theaters.
Okay,
Saw it one time.
it's been a while.
It's been a long time. That movie, when did that come out? In the 90s, right?
Yeah,
Because I don't think I was in high school yet. I was in middle school. What year were you born?
91.
91. Okay. So yeah, I got a few years on you. Um, yeah. So Jesus. Yeah. I own it. I did buy it because I remember it made an impression on me. I didn't think it was the greatest movie when I saw it, but I was also very young, and this is something that I've been doing a lot as of recently. I've been revisiting films that I didn't like. Um,
Okay,
because
get a fresh perspective.
yeah, it's
Get
I
a
mean, listen, life happens. You know, who you were at 18 is
people
not the same
change.
person who you are at 28 or whatever the case is.
100%.
I might just watch it tonight after this,
No, you have at it.
you know?
I'll be rooting for you. It's awesome.
So do you just get creeped out by gypsies in general, or is it?
No, it's not even the gypsies. It's just the whole movie. It's so uncomfortable. And I don't probably need to see a psychologist or something, but
It's
I
interesting.
just don't know why it bothered me so much. And even to this day, when I look at Cherry Pie, I can't look at Cherry Pie and like not think of that movie. And I'm like, I'm good.
Wow.
Like, I don't know.
This is the last
Favorite
question
horror.
because I don't
Okay.
want to keep you. It's getting late for you. Um, and this is an important question. This is the most important question of them
Okay.
all.
All right. Drum roll.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
um, this is a trick question.
Is it? I don't know how it could
Mm,
be. That's crazy.
no,
Okay.
but I don't think it is a Christmas movie. Um, but I don't know if it was when it came out and why people associate it with Christmas so much. But um, yeah, no. My answer would be no. It's not a Christmas movie.
Okay. There are no right or wrong answers on that one. It's just I love to have fun with that one because I know it triggers a lot of people.
Yeah,
There's the whole side of the internet that's like it's a Christmas movie, and then there's a whole other side
yeah,
that's like
yeah.
no, it's not. I'm in the camp of no. I feel like it's Christmas adjacent.
Hmm.
I don't just because it takes place during Christmas and Santa Claus is mentioned and there's references to Christmas. That's not,
Yes,
for me personally, that's not enough to make it a Christmas movie. I think that the Christmas spirit has to be involved there. And there's a certain magic, like
I
the
agree.
Santa Claus, for example. There's a magic to
Yes.
it that's what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie. Figured that would be the last question to end properly on this beautiful conversation. Ash,
Yes.
Ashley, thank you so very much for doing this. I appreciate you being open and honest and just vulnerable and raw. I loved every minute of this, and I just love hearing you talk about what movies have, done for you in your life and also for your kids as well. And I'm looking forward to chatting up more movies with you on
Yes, me
TikTok and
too.
anywhere else. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
anytime, anytime. Just let me know. I was so happy to be here and be able to talk about something that we all love and have a connection to. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. And big thank you again to Ashley for joining us today. Tune in next week. We'll have another episode. Until next time.